Okay. Okay. It's still recording. Okay. Before when I was recording, when I was playing Fallout New Vegas at the New Vegas Square, at the North Vegas Square, which is close to New Vegas in the game, I found out, I discovered a way, I discovered a way to break the game by getting outside the map, so to speak. It's hard to describe, but you'll figure out how, you'll, you'll figure it out when you see, excuse me, I'm suffering bad with my OCD here. But anyway, I'm gonna show you how to get outside the map from inside the North Vegas Square. I'll just show you the outside area first, so that you can see, how detailed it's supposed to be, with all these buildings and the lights and the signs and everything, and the grass and buildings and whatnot all here, with intricate pathways and people and everything over there and whatnot. This is what it's supposed to be like, the game. But now I'm going to show you what it's like when you break the game from inside the North Vegas Square. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it without no clipping, because I know most people are gonna say anyone could do it by no clipping, but I'm gonna show you how to do it without no clipping. So what you need to do is very slowly climb this part of the wall here where it's all jagged, making a kind of slope. You need to hug the wall. You need to hug the wall. You need to hug the wall. You need to hug the wall pretty much like this, in order to very slowly get up here, and then eventually, and then eventually, like I almost slipped then, and then eventually you'll get to this point here. You'll eventually get to this point where you can go no further up, and so, if I can remember correctly, at this point you need to do some kind of a skillful jump to get. Just messed up. It's hard with my OCD and having to talk as well, and also remember exactly where to jump. I'm slipping off again. Let's see if I can do the jump. It's even harder when I'm focusing on talking and dealing with my OCD at the same time. See if I can remember where to jump. You see, when you're having problems with OCD, it makes your memory really bad as well. Let's see. I could do it quite easily before. I mean, the second time was harder, but there we go. Almost. Oh no. See, I'm having problems here with my OCD, and but almost getting there. Yes, so, yes, I'm out now. I was trying to jump onto that roof to get out, But as you can see now, I'm out in the Mojave Desert, and although you can't see it just yet, it's all, it's all much plainer than it should be. I don't think I can get into the North Vegas square through this door anymore, as you can see. And now it's all much plainer out here, as you can see. There's no tufts of grass and no people, and like there's no buildings over there, um, and you might want to copy this for yourself. You might want to do this for yourselves to explore the Mojave when it's in this kind of a state, because it's in this kind of a state because lots of it are much different than it should be. Like the landscapes, and there's there's hills and whatnot in places where there shouldn't be. Um, uh, like it's like the landscape is so much different than it is in the actual original finished game. And like most buildings and towns and whatnot are completely gone now, and one of the only thing, it was some of the only buildings on the map left are the original New Vegas, the New Vegas buildings, like the Lucky 38 Tower and the casinos. And normally the New Vegas Strip should be all blocked off by loads of fences and barriers, so that you can only get into it by going either through the Freeside town or by taking the monorail from the McCarran airport base run by the NCR. You shouldn't be able to get onto the strip, the New Vegas strip, by coming into it from any direction. It shouldn't be all open like this. There should be roads and barriers and people and Securitron robots and everything here, and there should be little buildings in front of the casinos that you enter them from. Whereas, as you can see, that quite clearly isn't the case here. It's all weird and all open, with the buildings just being looking all unrealistic, being just planted on the ground with no way to get in them at all, and even just floating off the ground like this. I mean, you can see I should be inside the casino here, but all you can see is the framework around me. Uh, Not that I particularly like the Gamora, not that I particularly like the Gamora Casino, with me being a Christian gamer who suffers with bad OCD and anxiety, and and lots of things trigger my OCD anxiety. You see, I have worries about the afterlife. I have worries about the afterlife, and I have worries that wrong thoughts that I have could cause people, or may even to have a bad, a bad, a bad afterlife, a bad afterlife. Yeah, yeah. And as you can see, I'm inside the framework of the Ultralux casino here. I shall be inside a nice, cozy, luxurious casino, surrounded by posh masked people here. But I'm just in a frame, a kind of transparent framework here, and the sky is visible and everything like that. And one thing that I find fascinating about just the casinos being here on the main map and most of the features and buildings being gone, just just leaving plain land here, is that it's like this is a kind of early beta version of the game map, because as you can see, I'm still on the original game map, and that's what it should look like with all the build. That's you should be seeing lots more buildings and whatnot, but it's all empty and plain, and it makes me think that this is what the map probably looked like when the game was in the early stages of its development, with not much in the way of buildings or ground features, and it makes me think the New Vegas buildings might have been the first, might have been, might have, that the New Vegas buildings might have been the first, that the New Vegas casinos might have been the first buildings designed on the map. Um, and, and it makes me think that I find it particularly intriguing thinking how, what's that over. Oh, it's an NCR soldier standing guard. It's funny because I couldn't see any NCR soldiers inside here, and there's my companions trying to get to me from inside the McCarran Air Force Base, but I'm out here in the Mojave area, um, but a barren, empty version of the Mojave map that I shouldn't really be on. And yeah, what I find particularly fascinating about the New Vegas casinos being some of the only buildings on the map here in this state with not much here is that it's like when the game was first being made, that the first things to be made were the New Vegas casinos, and it makes me wonder if all of the game's storylines were kind of designed outward from that point once the New Vegas casinos were first made, so to speak, because sometimes people write stories from the end, starting from the end and going back to the beginning, don't they? In that kind of a way, and not making much sense. So I was struggling with this video, struggling to find my words with my OCD anxiety and whatnot, but um, yeah, but it's interesting to think that those casinos might have been the first buildings to be designed in the game, and then they wrote the story kind of backward from the casinos, and then all the other things on the map would have been created from after that, even though when you first start the game, you start in a little town called Good Springs, which is quite far away from here. But considering that it doesn't even exist when you're on this version of the Mojave map that's all open and barren and plain, well, it makes you think that in this early version of the map, well, what I'm guessing is this early version of the map, it makes you think that, what was I going to say? It makes you think that they hadn't come up with the idea for Good Springs yet at the point that they'd first designed the New Vegas casinos, doesn't it? Yeah. So there should be way more stuff here, rather than just this open desert. Like there should be buildings and roadways and plant life and all kinds of other things. And That's another thing that freaks me out in this game sometimes, when the sun is in certain positions in the sky and you're in certain places. See how this optical illusion makes the sun look massive in the sky, and it just freaks me out a bit at times, especially when I'm on my own in the game and I'm not talking or making videos. I, I mean, the sun is another of the things that I'm afraid of, that I have something of a phobia of in life. So, as you can imagine, seeing it looking huge in the sky like that can kind of freak me out at times. Seeing it looking huge in the sky in this game, that is, anyway. I know it's only an optical illusion because earlier in the day, well, earlier in this video, earlier in the day of this video, earlier in the day, when it was first getting to daytime in this game, in this video, earlier in the video, I have a hard time explaining things, but I hope you can understand what I mean. But yeah, when the sun was first rising in this game day, in this particular game day, in this in this in-game day, this day in the game. I hope you know what I mean. But when the sun was rising, it looked smaller and more realistically sized, whereas now suddenly it looks huge in the sky. Now that it's risen a bit, and it makes you think it's some kind of an optical illusion, and there isn't, and now there isn't really that size in the game, but still freaks me out at times. But yes, anyway, as you can see, I'm rather easily managing to get up these mountains that are in the middle of the map, and they look really strange. They don't look rocky at all. They just look all plain and textured, like they've got carpet laid over them or something. Well, not quite, but they do look far too smooth to be mountains, with how I'm in this kind of glitched version of the Mojave map with nothing here. And as you can see on the map, I'm coming up to Black Mountain now. What should be Black Mountain. And normally Black Mountain in the game is a mountainous area full of super mutants and nightkin, and because it's an area with such tough, dangerous enemies in it. It means you can only get to the top of Black Mountain by only a few different pathways. Whereas you can see here, I'm just waltzing up easily, waltzing up the mountain really easily, and now I'm practically at the top of Black Mountain. And yet anyone who's familiar with the game will know that this isn't what Black Mountain should look like at the top, not by any stretch of the imagination. There should be like craters here and roadways and ruined shacks and buildings and everything. It shouldn't be all plain and narrow like this, with big obvious views down to the ground, where it's all just plain down below as well. But it does look rather funny just seeing nothingness down in the distance, except for a few New Vegas buildings and the McCarran Airport run by the NCR, doesn't it? At the moment I can't even see the Lucky 38, and you should be able to see that from really far away, normally in the game. But yeah, when I was first walking around this empty, this version of the map, all kind of broken and empty and featureless, with nothing here, just ground without roads or features or buildings or anything. I thought it would be funny. It would be funny if the game makers did something to dissuade gamers like me from breaking games and getting to parts and getting to parts of the map that I shouldn't be able to get to. I mean, there's a particular enemy in the game called centaurs, and most people agree with me that they're horrifyingly creepy and nightmarish, and I thought it'd be funny if when you break the game by getting outside the map, if the game makers decided to punish players by having loads of centaurs suddenly come at you from the distance, loads of centaurs with freakishly high hit amounts of hit points, so making them really hard to kill so that they'd all just come at you and eventually surround you and kill you brutally without you really being able to do anything. It'd be quite traumatic, I agree, but it'd be a fun way of punishing players for breaking the game, wouldn't it? And yeah, I suppose that's one of the only good things about being an OCD gamer, so to speak. It means that I overexplore things, and then and eventually when you overexplore, you find glitches and ways to break the game and get out of the map where you shouldn't be able to. And yeah, and it makes for interesting opportunities for videos, I suppose. I mean, I'll just go to the place where Hidden Valley should be. That's the place where the Brotherhood of Steel faction in the game has their underground bunker base. And I'll see what it's like here just to finish off the video. But yeah, I've got the feeling that it'll just be all kind of weird and hilly rather than flat and open, rather than a flat open valley like it should be. But alas, I'm having some trouble getting up these hills, so maybe I'll just finish the video prematurely, although I am getting close to Hidden Valley now, so maybe I will try to get there before I finish the video just to kind of just to kind of put the finishing touches onto videos. Really infuriating sometimes though when you come across a big wall of hills or mountains that you can't get past. So alas, I'm past them now and almost at Hidden Valley. Yeah, hope this video hasn't got up to half an hour or more, because then the file size will probably be huge with how I don't usually play games this graphically advanced in videos just yet. Yeah, so I pretty much should be at Hidden Valley right now, but anyone who knows the game knows that this isn't even remotely what it's like. I mean, yeah, well, here it does look a bit like this, I suppose, but this should be the cloud cover from the defensive device that the Brotherhood of Steel have in operation to hide their base so no one can find it from above. And there should be fences and vegetation and scorpion enemies and bunkers and hills, but it's all just flat and open. And but fear not, because I don't have to kill myself or reload my save game, because actually no, I'll fast travel to Hidden Valley from here so you can see what it should be like after seeing this. So we'll just fast travel now and I'll show you. Everything will be back to normal. Yes, and this is what it should be like. This is what Hidden Valley should be like, by the way. As you can see, it's much more detailed now that the game is working like it should be working. And let's see if we can find the hidden deep Brotherhood of Steel bunker to show you what I meant about the underground bunkers and what they should look like. So you can see the fences surrounding this area, and now it's all hilly to stop you from seeing too far ahead and whatnot. But yeah, these are the bunkers here that I was talking about. That's the Brotherhood of Steel bunker anyway. And so now I'll just go back to oh, I'll just go back fast travel to the North Vegas Square. Yeah, here we are, and now I'd say that we can finish the video here. So goodbye, everyone.